Hopefully my camera is angled properly. Basically, I wanted to sit down and do another one of these videos where I kind of explain another aspect of, I guess, my thoughts on everything. And my answer to, or whatever question I'm trying to explain is, why do I enjoy doing Urbex? You know, exploring abandoned places like this one right now. So I figured perfect place to film a video like this would be in an abandoned place. So yeah. What got me into exploring abandoned places was, well, for one, I watched Shai's videos, and that kind of, well, that started me off, but I've always liked exploring abandoned places. Like, even whenever I was younger, there would be an abandoned building that we would go in, like me and my friends, or just me by myself, and I would go in there and just look around and just see what I can find. Or I've always had interest in, you know, train surfing and all these different things, because that's kind of something that you're, I wouldn't say born with, but a certain type of person has to be interested in, you know, train surfing and all that shit. For most people, they aren't gonna want to go train surfing or, you know, climb a tower or something like that, unless you have that specific spark of interest for it. Of course, a lot of people like to explore unknown things, and that's a normal part of being human, is curiosity. But to the extent of, you know, an urban explorer, like, they, in my mind, they have a different level of curiosity, at least. That's my opinion. I feel like people I've explored with and have been in the circle of, you know, exploring and stuff like that, they tend to have a different frame of mind. They're more curious than other people. But for me, it was Shai who kind of like made me want to go do things, but I've always wanted to do them. It's just, I didn't know how much until I was watching Shai. And another really important factor that I think got me into, you know, exploring and stuff like that was a game called Infamous, which is like a parkour kind of choose your own path kind of game. But you can climb buildings, you can ride on trains there during the game, and you can ride on top of them. But it was stuff like that that got me into parkour, and then eventually that got me into Urbex and all the other stuff. But it was that game that kind of like made me more passionate about it, and then I started searching for it, and then eventually I found Shai, and I think it was Store or something like that. It's a parkour channel where they run across buildings and do all this crazy shit. But pretty sure me, what got me into Urbex is, well, the game Infamous, that kind of like lit the passion for me, that made me more interested in it. And then Shai and all these other people who I watched and kind of grew up with as time went on, they started making me want to, you know, do all this stuff. And then eventually I started doing it on my own, finding my own places, doing all these things on my own. And then eventually I kind of went off, and now I'm just doing my own thing at this point. But for me, it just is like a thing where I got interested in it. I thought it was cool, it looked interesting. I've done it before growing up, and I just had more of a curiosity for it, and then it became a passion and just something that I wanted to, you know, do in my life. Maybe do with my life, I'm not sure yet, but I know I definitely can see myself, you know, doing this instead of doing something else. But I always will have other avenues that I can go down and explore and stuff like that. Like, to compare and contrast, this is like any other hobby, but it's far more dangerous and sort of illegal. But at the same time, if you approach it with the idea that, okay, I'm not actually going to destroy anything, I'm not here to harm anything, then it'll be easier. But if you approach it with the idea of trying to harm everything and destroying it, then you're going to give whatever it is you're doing a bad rep, or specifically exploring a bad rep. Anyways, that's my idea of all this stuff. Yeah, hopefully that will simplify a few things if anyone had an interest in, you know, seeing why someone would explore an abandoned place. Or at least, I feel like there should be some type of answer. Someone should at least try and clarify. I'm not sure about other people, but I'm sure about myself. And if they're similar to me, then maybe they can have this be an answer for them, but I'm not sure. Either way, I'm gonna get out of here. It's starting to become uncomfortable. I feel like this chair might have bed bugs.